We've got some
Hey,
fresh
I'm
new young
Luis.
talent
And this is
doing some
Luis.
things that I
Welcome
know
to the
you haven't
Content
heard
is Profit
before.
podcast.
In here, you're going to get the insights, accountability, and drive to create consistently and increase revenue.
You'll hear from top entrepreneurs, creators, and anything and everything you need to know about content. All this while having a very good time.
The goal of this podcast is simple: entertain, educate, and turn your content into profit.
Educate.
I know, I just realized I said it wrong. Educate.
Educate. Good job, Fonzie.
It was a mix between entertain and educate.
That should be the new shirt. With
Instead of
Educate.
entertainment, educate.
Educate. All right. Welcome to part 3, everyone. We made it. Let's go.
Let's go. I've liked this series. I think we should do this series once every quarter. You know, and add all the new spiciness that we come up through our journey.
Yeah, let us know. What do you think?
That is right.
Do you want like specific series on different topics around content?
Do you want a series around publishing pyramid?
Ooh,
Do you want
that
a
would be
series
good.
around minimal viable content?
Do you want a series about perfect audiences
Ooh.
that never get bored of your content? Ooh, baby.
I like that. I like the sound of that. But talking about journey, guys, actually that was a topic for part 1. So if you are listening to this and you haven't heard to part 1 or part 2, make sure you put them in your queue so you go straight and listen to those right after this one.
That's right.
You don't necessarily need to hear them in that order, but that would help. It will give you a little bit of context. So part 1, we talk about the journey, and part 2, we talk about the publishing pyramid and how to find your own how on publishing so you can be consistent.
That's right. And before you go dive into the episode today, I really want to say thank you for coming in and supporting Content is Profit. Without you, we're nobody. We're nobody. Fonzie's nobody.
Well, I am
Fonzie.
because my identity is not attached to others.
That's what we just learned with the conversation that we had. That's actually coming out in 2 days, so keep an eye for that one. That was a good one.
Pretty good.
But really, I wanted to say thank you, and thank you for the support. Thank you for downloading these episodes. Thank you for consuming. Give us feedback as well. So how can you get feedback? You can leave us a review right here on the podcast in your favorite platform, or you can send us a social media message.
At BIZBROS or Luis Camejo V. Just look for me because I'm the cooler brother.
Sure.
I'm just plugging my Instagram. I'm not plugging yours.
All right, Fonzie.
You do your own plugging.
They don't need my. They already have it.
They already had it.
They already found it. Thank you.
Good comeback. Good comeback. So what we're talking about today? What is part 3 all about?
Yes.
Part 3 and final part of this 3-part series.
Probably the biggest secret that we've discovered while podcasting.
Yeah.
The biggest and the most profitable one.
Which is?
The 6-figure platform, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And it could be
just keep in mind, it's 6-figure because once we make it to 7 figures, it's going to be the 7-figure platform.
By the way, this framework has been executed by some of our clients, some of our partners, and for them, it's become a 7-figure and an 8-figure platform.
8-figure platform.
We just say 6-figure platform because it's the framework that finally allowed us to cross and break through that 6-figure mark in sales.
That is right. And before we start explaining a little bit about the 6-figure platform, I want to share with you a phrase that you might have heard. I actually heard it I've heard it a few times through our dad, but I heard it back in college again, and it's not what you know, but who you know, right? And keep that phrase in mind, but I'm going to add an extra part to it that I heard the other day, and I was like, this is absolutely golden. It is not what you know, but who you know that knows what you do. And I think that is the essence of the 6-figure platform. It allows you to build that network, people that know you, and at the same time, leverage that to build the people that knows what you do. So with that being said, let's start diving in. Let's talk a little bit about how we discovered the 6-figure platform. I think we touched base on this on part 2 towards the end, but quick recap. How did we find out about 6-figure platform?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this was definitely something that we discovered in our own journey. There's no courses around it. There's no nothing. There might be some people talking here and there about it, but we really discovered it on executing on our own. So around March,
we should trademark this bad boy.
Yes, sir. So obviously around March 2020, when everything went to hell, with the crazy COVIDness, all the businesses kind of closed that we were serving at the time.
The C word so we don't get banned from, artificial intelligence looking at our content and then
we're spreading misinformation with saying that all the businesses closed, which was true, by the way. And we lost about 80% of our sales. We had about 60-day runway. We freaked out. And obviously we share that in the last episodes, but we started publishing. And the way that we decided to publish was through a podcast because we were a little familiar with the format. A couple clients were doing that. And then Fonzi telling me to hurry up.
Yeah, it's a quick recap. Okay,
well, that hasn't happened, not even a minute, dude. And then after that, we basically stopped. We do not have any more topics to talk about after 20 episodes. We're like, what else? And we decided to invite some people into the podcast. And very quickly, after the first week, we connect with a few from the show that are interested in our services. And then the light bulb comes on. And we're like, oh boy, it's not about the audience on the other side listening, which long-term, yes, absolutely, 100%. But immediately, because we have this need that we actually have to sell a service and we actually have something really valuable, we identify that person that we're connecting with on the show can be a really good source for either the sale, referrals, connections, and ultimately a great relationship that can help the business long term.
Fastest path to cash. You mentioned that before, and I think that applied at that moment. We're like, wow, the fastest way for us to build relationships that matter, that are going to help, either they're going to help the business, we can help them as well. Right? And we can leverage the whole relationship into a new and powerful opportunity is bringing people onto our platform.
Yeah.
How long did it took us to become a 6-figure platform?
Actually, I don't know.
You don't know?
That's a good question. While you share the story, maybe JWB, I will look that up.
While we were doing this, actually, before we actually started our podcast, right? Was it before or after that we worked with JWB? We clearly need to work on our timelines.
No, JWB, we were already working with them at the time. That was started. I think that was one of the few clients that stayed because they were doing everything online.
Long story short, JWB is a real estate development company and management, right? Yep. And they decided to shift their whole marketing strategy to this concept, which was having a podcast, bringing business leaders from around town, aka Jacksonville, Florida, and nurturing the Facebook group, their community, through the podcast, right? What it did was it managed them to help them grow massively. I think it was something around 300% that they grew. And to this strategy, they have attributed, I think it's $40 million.
$40 million.
$40 million. So they actually have an 8-figure platform.
Yeah.
8-figure platform, which is absolutely mind-blowing that you can do so based in this. And this is the only change that they did to their marketing. So the attribution is pretty simple, right? And all they did was, again, sit down with leaders of the community, other developers in the community. What are those key people, those strategic relationships that you want to build to move forward, and then give that as value to the community that you're building as well. So as you can tell, the 6-figure platform has a few steps that you can use, and I
got the dates.
We're gonna go a little bit in a little bit more detail into that in just a second. So
I got the date exactly on cash collected. So it was at the end of November we crossed $100,000.
So less than a year.
Less than a year. So that's
about 7 months. Yeah, that's 7 months.
In 7 months, we crossed 7 figures in sales with the
7 figures in sales.
6 figures. My bad. I'm projecting to the future. I'm manifesting.
We're manifesting.
No, but it was cash collected past $100,000 in sales in 7 months since we launched the show.
Man, that's commendable, and I'm very proud of ourselves for doing that after a few years of just jumping.
I was gonna ask you how long since we started the company that we tried to get to that point.
I mean, it was like 3 or 4 years at that time.
Yeah.
But then, this is amazing. And I think there's a valuable lesson here, because my mind right now is immediately going to like, oh man, but there's people that do 7 figures in 7 months. But then my mind also is aware that I cannot compare myself to others. And I'm like, well, there's people that don't do at all the six figures, and this is our journey, our lessons. And I'm actually very proud. We were very proud of what we did in those 7 months. And now we've grown beyond that. Now we have a team. When we started this, we didn't have a team. It was just you and I.
Yeah.
And then as we close more business through the six-figure platform, it helped us build a team that now supports the product that we're selling, the service that we're selling, and it's allowing us to do more of this, aka more six-figure platform, and build more stronger and powerful relationships, which it has been amazing. It hasn't just translated into business. It has translated into opportunities as going and speak now at Podfest, for example, which fun fact, we didn't actually submit an application. They reached out to us and they were like, guys, we're looking for your application and it's not here.
Yeah.
It also allowed us to be MCs at an event of one of our amazing guests here at Content is Profit.
I think one of the things that we got to do before, because we speak in a couple of days, right? Friday. So in 5 days, we speak at Podfest and we're going to be talking about this. And how can people actually go out and execute something like this? We need to do an inventory of the opportunities that came because of the six-figure platform. From speaking engagement to relationships to coaching to meeting our new coaches, right? Because we've been working with new coaches that had changed everything for us.
Not just clients. I mean, of course, clients
referrals.
Come with it.
Yeah. I mean, I was sharing this concept earlier with one of our amazing people that are going to come into the show Wednesday. And she was telling me like, how soon can we monetize this, right? And has a very successful brick and mortar business. And I'm like, if you want today, right? It's about the intention on how we produce this. It's about the ask that we do after the show. It's like, how do we frame this to make sure that we're adding value? And a lot of the perspective when we share this concept, a lot of the feedback that we get is that people's minds go to the audience immediately. They think is, oh, people are listening to my message, they resonate, they come in, and yes, that is in a sense true. We've had incredible people that have come into our community, into our Facebook group, that we've met that have been listening to the show for a while now. But the truth is that if you want to sell high ticket service, which is what we do, right, or a high ticket coaching or something like that, the approach has to be a little bit different than just aiming for the audience. And we have a few stories, right? We have Mario's story. We have obviously JWB, Josh. There's a few in there, but this is a very powerful tool that you can leverage today. Yeah, and to do this,
we're gonna go through why the six-figure platform works and why this happens about selling the the high ticket, but also how that translates into a long term. You can sell the high ticket now to an audience in a long-term setting. Yeah. But before I dive into that, I just want you to think into a little bit of some of the most mainstream, is that a thing, most mainstream? Or I want you to think of some mainstream podcasts out there, and I want you to look at it from the point of view of the six-figure platform, right? People that develop relationships. Again, remember the phrase, it's not what you know, but who you know that knows what you do. Think about these people. Lewis House, the School of Greatness. Every single episode he has is an interview. I think he must have some solo episodes. I've never heard actually a solo episode from him. But all of them are interviews with top thought leaders, entrepreneurs. What do you think his network is worth? And how does that translate into his net worth? He's literally receiving hundreds of thousands of advice per episode every time he brings somebody in. But not just that, behind the camera, he then gets the opportunity to connect deeper with this guest and maybe potentially explore a business opportunity, right?
Yeah.
I think obviously he's at a level of the business opportunity potentially being more of an investment side of things. But I don't doubt that he has become the coach of many of these people that have come to his podcast. Now think about another one. He was a Content is Profit guest, Travis Chappell, right? So his podcast is actually called Build Your Network. And he shared with us that, guess what? As his network grew, his net worth grew as well.
Yeah.
So I think there's a correlation in there between network and net worth.
Yeah.
I think they both increase as they go. And you've heard it. You are the average of the 5 people you hang out with. So why don't you handpick those people and bring them to your show?
Yeah, I think, a lot of the friction there is fear, right? Of, hey, like, how do we're working on this and with a couple of people that are in the program, and they were like, hey, Luis, like, how do we do the ask, right? How do we go out there and we ask our dream guest? And at the end of the day is you're already providing a ton of value. We have Luca coming in and saying hi. We can go out there and just go for the ask, right? I'm like, well, what if I only have 5 episodes, right? And in this specific example that I really, really love is this amazing couple that have been in business for 6 and 7 years. They've been in the fitness space. They've sold multiple businesses. They are in the crypto space. They're developing a software, right? So is what lens are you looking at your relationship with your own business? Like, what can you leverage to be able to do that ask? And I think a lot of the fear of like why people don't do this is there, right? So we have to like, what can we latch on so we can ask that? I mean, we lean forward, right? When we started, it was like, hey, this is our first interview. Do you want to be a part of that? Right? And, we knew who to ask. There were people close to us. There were coaches, right? That had a ton of leverage. And then we utilized that to continue to move forward.
Yeah. Leverage relationships is key point of the 6-figure platform, right? And again, think about people like Joe Rogan, right? Look at the people that he's talking to. I'm sure he's building strong relationships there. Tom Bilyeu, right? I mean, even people like Logan Paul. I don't know if you heard his podcast or not, but he's literally having some of the biggest personalities. And guess what? I'm certain because we actually heard it. Heard him say that he develops these relationships into businesses, into opportunities, right?
Well, the first one, the most notorious, is with KSI, right? Like the KSI. They have been guests on each other podcasts. Obviously, they have big YouTube channels as well.
They have some history.
They have some history.
Podcasts.
But what they just launched is a global brand for beverages, right? They launched literally nationwide.
Yeah. And guess what? If they need help with marketing, distribution, whatever, I'm pretty sure some people that they've had on the podcast helps them with that.
100%. I mean, Logan also just released his like NFT collection, the 99 designs. It's not 99 designs. What is it?
I think it is 99 designs. I mean, I know that's a different website, like the freelancing website, but
99 whatever. It's a Polaroid project. And but anyways, Gary Vee has been like promoting him all around. He came into his show, and that's a relationship that he built around content. And again, we do a podcast, right? Well, we call it a platform. We call it a show. That can be in anything. Like, how are you comfortable creating? Are you creating content already? Are you collaborating on Instagram Live? Are you collaborating on YouTube? Are you collaborating on podcasts?
I think platform translates to collaboration, regardless of the medium.
Platform is a place where you collaborate, right? Like
regardless of the medium.
Exactly. So it could be, and again, we've talked about this concept in the past, where it's like, what's your least friction place where you can create, right? For us, it was the podcast, because it meant that we would just jump on and connect the webcam and start talking, right?
Yeah. So imagine I am Andy, a blogger that hates podcasting, and I'm listening to this right now. I love listening to Content is Profit, but I hate doing the podcast. And he's like, I'm a blogger. How am I going to build my 6-figure platform through a blog? Is that even possible?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm going to disclose that I'm no blogger, so I have zero reference on how that medium works.
I'm going to answer my own question because I already thought about it.
No, let me answer.
All right, cool. You got it.
And then you can go. Well, first of all, you're creating a piece of content, right, which is your blog, right? So one is you can ask for another blogger that you admire, or somebody that you might want to see as an attractive character for being a client, referrals, whatnot, to give you to interview him for your blog, so you can write the blog, right? So you could have a 30-minute conversation over Zoom about that topic that you're writing, right? You could co-write a blog post. The idea is like, what is the excuse, or what is your Trojan horse into collaborating them in some shape or form so you can continue the conversation? So again, you could bring him into an interview so you can collect information for your blog. You can write the blog together. You can go to a coffee shop and write it together in the coffee shop.
Holding hands.
That's how FONZI would like to do it.
Yeah, holding hands.
What's your answer?
Right, you start with my left hand.
Was I pretty accurate?
That was pretty accurate. Yeah, I was going to say, look for a way. I like the Trojan horse type of image. I know Travis Chappelle kind of like mentioned that to us when we talked to him. But I don't want also for you to mistake, because obviously the Trojan horse was made to fool the Trojans, right? If I'm not mistaken, if my history recalling doesn't fail me.
I sense a fact check coming your way.
Yeah, probably. But that was meant to trick them, right? In here, we take more of the stand of what's in it for them. How can we help them? And at the same time, leverage that momentum to build a strong relationship. So yes, for somebody that's a blogger, they know, hey, dude, let's jump on a call. Let me interview you, right? We're not going to publish this as anything, but let's talk. Let's have a conversation. And out of that conversation, I'm going to write a blog that I'm going to attribute to you. So now I'm giving you exposure and I'm giving us a beautiful friendship.
And we have a great, and you also have a great piece of content that then it serves your audience as you continue to develop this, right? Like,
absolutely.
I think this model checks so many boxes, right? And is in my mind right now is unthinkable not to consider something like this, right? Like
absolutely. Especially if you sell high ticket, whatever.
Yeah.
Especially high ticket B2B. This is the way. I'm gonna quote the Mandalorian. This is the way.
This is the way. Even if you don't sell anything, right? Because when we first started, we had kind of like an idea of what we were going to tackle. And this just cemented that idea and validated it because people wanted it. But even if you don't have any idea of what to sell, right? You could start these conversations on a topic that you're passionate about.
Become a student of the market.
Become a student. Yeah, because these people that are coming in are also giving you all the time and attention. They're going to share the secrets, right? That you can start. You're gonna have all these like ideas. Like it's gonna be a wave of ideas that are gonna come after every single episode, and you're gonna be like, oh my gosh,
because it happens to us.
It happens, and you're like, which one do I choose, right? And then you start asking the people that come into the show. Then you start asking the audience members that are listening, the 1, the 2, the 3 people that are gonna be listening at the very beginning, right? You're gonna do your Facebook lives, and you're gonna find out exactly what you like and what you don't like.
I remember the first couple. Well, actually, not the first. We still do this with every guest that we have. After we're done, we look at each other and we're like, bro, that was so good. That was so good. And then we like pick up ideas and we're like, we should totally do that.
We should totally do that. Yeah. Some of them have come alive. Some of them are still in the idea book.
Yeah, but I think it's a beautiful way to just feed your idea muscle and work on some things. You never know what's going to happen. Now, we kind of like beat up already around the point of leveraging these relationships and building these incredible relationships. There's one more point I want to touch base on before we head out here. And it is that I want you to imagine the six-figure platform as an intersection. And this is how I've explained it to a lot of people. And they've been loving this explanation. But it's an intersection between what is called ABM, for those that are not familiar with that is account-based marketing, and traditional marketing, which is your traditional funnel, right? So I want you to picture this. 2 triangles. One is pointing down, which is your traditional funnel. And then the other one is right above that one, but is a regular triangle pointing up. Now we start from the very top, which is engaging with just one person. Instead of trying to target the masses, a lot of people, right, which can require a lot of resources, time and money. We talked about that previously on the publishing pyramid. We actually start by targeting one person that could potentially be either a great partnership or a great client, in general, a great opportunity.
We mentioned this on the platform profit formula. Wow. Correct. Today my English is not good looking. Which one of those elements is audience, right? A lot of people is like, well, is the audience when I publish? No, well, your guest is also your audience because they're actively listening to you talk when you talk to them.
So we're at the very top of that pyramid, right? And we target this one person or this set of very specific people. And then we nurture those relationships. How do we nurture those relationships? That is where the six-figure platform comes in. Your show, your platform, your blog, whatever it is, whatever medium you decide, you actually nurture that relationship through collaboration and co-creation of content. But I feel like what is the name of Rob Dyrdek? I feel like Rob Dyrdek would be very proud of me right now. I feel like I'm embodying Rob Dyrdek as I speak. But let's get back to nurturing, right?
That's so wrong in many levels.
We're nurturing.
I do not agree with you.
We're nurturing through creation and co-creation and collaboration with these people, right?
Yeah.
And guess what? Through the process of creation and collaboration, we're actually going to create assets, right? We're creating the podcast or whatever, the blog, whatever medium you have decided. And that can be used to transition from that first pyramid pointing up to a traditional marketing funnel. Because now this is where we come in with our service and what we do with Content Momentum. We grab that long form piece of content and turn it into multiple pieces of content that now serve to nurture and capture the attention of the audience that you want to build.
Yeah.
So short term, you're building very strong relationships with the people that are going to move the needle inside of your business, right? Potential opportunities. Long term, you're getting to build that audience and filter them through the traditional funnel into the products and frameworks that you are probably going to develop through your podcast in the top of the pyramid as you speak to these people. Because
or platform.
Or platform. Because that is how we actually came up with Publishing Pyramid, right? That's how we voice as well the minimal viable content, right? That's how we have voiced the platform profit formula. Like all these things we've put together through the platform while speaking through it, right? And
we've seen the problems, right? We've seen the challenges that people that come into the show, obviously, you know, we target people that use content in very ways, and in the conversation we ask them, you know, what's friction, like what's challenge, like what happened, and after 300 plus conversations, we have a pretty good idea of like normally what the most common problems are, right? So think about like that in your service, in your product that you sell. What are those common problems? Like ask questions around that, have conversations around it, because it's going to give you a ton of market data that you can then look at and be like, okay, if around 200 conversations or 100 conversations or 10 conversations even, right? People keep repeating that this is a problem. Maybe this is something I might be looking into solving, and then offer that solution to that person that told you, right? Because guess what? They need your solution, right? We're serving. You're making the world a little better by offering your solution. So
absolutely.
I like this.
Yeah, this was a solid. This was solid prep for a presentation on Friday.
On Friday. But guess what? Our opinion doesn't matter much because we always think that this episode is going to be awesome. We need your help. We need your help letting us know, was this useful? Part 3, part 1, or part 2. Was this useful? Let us know. If you want more episodes like this, send us a message at BIZBROS or leave us a review, an honest review on the podcast.
Absolutely.
And we're going to continue to create something like this.
Your reviews and your follows in the podcasting platforms help us reach more people and help more people. So that'll be greatly appreciated. If you have found value out of what we've talked about today, feel free to leave a review. And if you have more questions, follow-up questions, if you want to learn more about the 6-figure platform, how you can create your own, or if you want to learn
or 7-figure platform or 8-figure platform, depends on your business.
That's right. Or if you want to learn about Content Momentum and how we can help you leverage your content, right? We can help you create a system that is going to help you show up daily consistent content. Then we want to help you out. Slide in the DMs.
I want to do the inventory of opportunities that came out of the 6-figure platform. I think that's going to be a good exercise.
Yeah, but are we going to do it right now?
No. Yeah. Not right now. But, for the presentation.
Cool comment, bro.
I'm just saying, hey, do you want to hear our inventory of opportunities that came because of this? I think so.
Yeah,
if you do, let me know and we'll send the list. Anyways, is that an episode?
Yeah, that's an episode.
That's the episode?
Pretty good.
Okay. Thank you so much for tuning into the Contents Profit Podcast. Go ahead and follow the show in your favorite platform and on social media at BIZBROS. Go.
That is right. And if today we help you move one step closer towards your goal by learning the 6-figure platform, please don't forget to share this episode with 3 friends and leave a 5-star review. See ya.
Bye, guys.